how can you gather general knowledge for the technology sector without starting a job in that sector? Yeah, it's a great question. So in 2002, there's a senator named Eliot Spitzer in New York, and he created what's called Regulation FD. FD stands for fair disclosure. And he did the right thing. It was a good thing he did. He did a lot of bad things in life, but this was one of the good ones. Google that if you want, whatever. But what he did was he basically made it law so that you and I, as individual investors, doesn't matter where we live in the world, we get access to the same information at the same time that the large mutual funds and hedge funds do. That's a great thing. That means that anytime a company reports earnings, which is usually every 3 months, unless you're in Japan, it's every 6 months, but in most countries, every 3 months. When a company reports earnings, you can actually listen to their webcast live, and you can get access to all the financial documents at the same time that all these mutual fund and hedge fund and wealthy investors get them. It didn't used to be like that, but the playing field has been leveled. And so the way to do research on stocks, just take my complete financial analyst course on Udemy, or go to my website for a coupon, or join me in my MBA degree program. I teach you much, much more. But what you can do is you can actually go and download all the documents. And it's a lot easier to do than you think. Now, big companies have investor relations departments, okay? So their job is to educate and help you and I as investors or potential investors. And they help us understand the financial statements better. So you can search for investor relations and whatever company it is you're doing research on. And you can go here and read a ton of documents that they provide. Okay. Financial documents, etc., annual reports, listen to previous webcasts, that sort of thing. And a lot of companies every year, the big ones, will have what's called an analyst day. And it's usually in a hotel in a big city, and it's 5 hours long. And the CEO talks for an hour, CFO talks for an hour, they take questions for a couple hours, they show a couple new products, etc. And you can get access to that live as well, or record it on investor relations pages, and that will help you tremendously. What I also recommend you do is I recommend you read the annual report. It's called the 10K. And the 10K is released once a year. It's the annual report. And they release another document called the 10Q, which is released every quarter, which just has an update on how the quarter went. And by law, and there's lots of lawyers involved in these things, which is a good thing, I guess. By law, they have to disclose all material risks. So you can read them here, risk factors, for example. And you can get all the financial statements in here as well. It's amazing. Now, you can also go to a website in the United States called SEC.GOV. Gov for government, of course. And you can actually search for company filings. And you can search by ticker here or by company here. So let's do Apple, just to be consistent. All right. And what you can do is you can get access to all of Apple's financial documents here for free. For free. It's amazing. An 8K means a press release with important stuff like earnings. And a 10Q, as we know, is a quarterly report. Then you've got insider selling and these other reports. And then the 10K, which is down here, is the annual report. So if we click here and we go to the annual report for Apple, wrong one, sorry, right here, yeah. What you can do is you can read it here. And for a lot of companies now, what SEC.GOV is doing, it's actually a great website. They've done a great job, and it's free. What you can do is you can go and look at the financial statements and actually download them here as well on a lot of these websites. You can click and download. Okay, so here we've got products, services for Apple. But there's another website you can use as well, which all the people on Wall Street love using now, called BAMSEC, B-A-M-S-E-C. And if you enter in the ticker here, and you can get a free trial, and I think it's $30 a month after that. You can click on any report here. And then what you can do is you can actually download the financials directly into Excel from here. You can also go to the annual shareholder meeting for any company. That's the best way to meet CEOs. So if you work in sales and you want to get access to a CEO, which is the key decision maker, of course, for your product or service you're trying to sell, go to the annual shareholder events. I go to them all the time. And what happens is hardly anybody is there except a bunch of, old investors like me, I guess. Then they give you bad coffee at their headquarters or a hotel, whatever. And then when it's over, that annual shareholder meeting is over, what happens is the CEO does not leave until everybody else leaves, because the CEO wants to set a great example to other C-level executives that are around, meaning CFO, CMO, COO, etc. And so you can go up to the CEO and talk to her or him for a long time. And they want to try to set an example. And also the board is there sometimes too, and other big shareholders sometimes. So they kind of want to show that, hey, we're talking to everybody here. So corner the CEO, talk to the CEO, and ask them for a follow-up meeting, or ask them about selling your product to them. And if they tell you the name of, if they're like, well, I don't know, talk to Joanne Smith in the products group. Well, email Joanne Smith then in the product group and say, I met with your CEO and he recommended that I reach out to you for yada. You guys get the idea. You guys get the idea. So those are just a handful of ways to do due diligence on companies. You can take my MBA degree program, or you can take my complete financial analyst training course for more details on this. Thank you.